Hey folks, Fernando doing another video for the Modern Survivalist, and in this video I'm going to be talking about what is best for your EDC knife. Do you want a black finish like in this case, or you want a stainless shiny finish like in this one? What's best for your EDC knife choice? Before I go on with the video though, I want to clarify what happened last night. We usually do with Matt our live streams. The situation is the following. Around Friday afternoon, I think it was, all of my channels were demonetized. I pretty much lost all my YouTube channels, simply demonetized entirely. Not even a strike like it happened many times in the past. No, just everything gone. I spent the entire weekend losing my mind over this, figuring stuff out. I finally got it up again, but what I learned was that most YouTube channels that cover the situation in Ukraine, look how I'm even censoring myself now as I speak, and I fucking hate this, but many channels went through this themselves, and it turns out that that's the case right now with YouTube. If you just cover it in any aspect, no matter what, you may end up finding yourself completely demonetized. Not just a strike, just the entire thing gone. I have my English channel, I have my Spanish channel with over 200,000 subscribers. That was affected as well. So clearly, we've reached a point where we cannot talk freely anymore here. I'm kind of fed up already because we went through this already with COVID. We just had to watch every single word we said because I had strike after strike all the time and always, trying to speak in code, and I'm fed up. I just don't like having conversations where I cannot even speak freely or the person I'm speaking with. So as of right now, guys, what I'm looking at is the following. I'll probably go with doing the same thing live in Rumble. I know that a lot of you guys have been asking for moving to Rumble, so, wish granted. We're going with Rumble, and that's going to be for next weekend. I'll keep you guys posted, but as of right now, we'll roll with it as it goes. But as of right now, I'm seeing that as the only alternative. Let's see how things continue developing. If I get more news, all changing all the time. But as of right now, that's the thing. So that in terms of the live streams. In terms of the topic of this video, what is best? I did a video not that long ago about the best finish in your survival knife, and for me, there's really not much of a debate. I want to have a stainless steel satin finish similar to this. Actually, this is my survival knife made by Aitor. This is made in Spain, super high quality boiler 9680 stainless steel, and this is what I like in a survival knife. This is my idea of a survival knife, something that has a very good steel with great edge retention, super durable, tough, and also that is very easy to clean. This is a knife that you can just chop down a freaking tree if you want, and then just wipe it clean super easily and prepare food. Now, typically what you find in many survival knives these days is, it's not that it's bad steel, but 1095 is not the best survival steel for knives there is. It's actually the most affordable steel, and that's why they end up using it. 1095 is a very basic carbon steel. It's been around forever, properly heat treated, it's perfectly suitable, but it's not superior to higher end steel such as this one, which will have more edge retention. It is tougher, and besides, of course, it is very much stainless steel, and it's going to be resisting oxidation in ways that 1095 simply cannot. And that's bringing us to the next step, which is when you have a carbon steel that will rust as easily as 1095, you need to find a solution so as to avoid that. So you coat it with something. Usually it's going to be the cheapest coating there is, some kind of epoxy paint of some sort baked on it, or just painted and sprayed. That's what you're looking at. Now that has a couple disadvantages. First of all, it will peel off and leave spots where it will start oxidizing. Besides that, because just a little bit of rust in your carbon steel knife, it's not the end of the world. But what I see more problematic, it's harder to keep clean. And if you're using that knife for preparing food, then that can definitely be an issue. All of that textured, orange peel kind of stuff is very dirty, and it's not as easy to clean up. Usually I have to use soap if I want to leave that very much clean. This is a lot easier, and besides that, this will slide through whatever I'm cutting a lot easier. When you have something that has traction, when it creates like friction, right, in whatever material you're trying to slide that blade through, well, that's something that is also impairing to some degree the cutting capabilities of the knife that you have. Now, in terms of folding knives, I think that there's a lot more room for debate, and I'd like to know your opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know if you've actually had some experience. In my very super limited experience, I prefer still something that has reflection. I prefer a shiny knife for my EDC knife. Why? Well, for a couple of reasons. First of all, your EDC knife is going to be used mostly for what? For practical stuff, right? So we go back to the survival and utilitarian aspect. It's easier to keep clean, right? It has less friction and less traction with whatever you're cutting through. That's always nice. You can have that with the right finish, but even this one, which is not all that textured, it just feels that it has more traction than this one. But when it comes down, and here is where things get a little bit more, more debatable. When it comes down to self-defense, traditionally you would look at a blacked out knife as a tactical knife, as a military knife. And that's very much correct. The idea of avoiding reflection, that's a big topic in combat and fighting knives and fighting gear in general. You don't want stuff that is reflective, that just marks out your spot, your location, like a little mirror. That is a big no-no in anything tactical military, right? The idea of taking down sentries with your dagger, blacked out, yeah. Now, when it comes down to self-defense though, at least again, in my super limited experience, I've found out that something that is visible has its advantages. Why? Well, because if you don't want to get into a fight and you're about to, and you bring out something that is shiny and looks dangerous and looks sharp and looks pointy, that usually has a very positive effect on the person that you're kind of trying to convince not to go on with that aggression. So if you find yourself in that place, then maybe that's what you want. And of course, if someone has a handgun, you're bringing out a knife and you get shot, of course, that's stupid. But then we're talking about something that's completely different and more of a desperate last resort thing. And at that point, nothing really matters. Let's say someone breaks into your house. You only have your pocket knife and you're just looking for a moment to grab the gun and slam someone against the wall and just start stabbing at it. Man, you're talking about a last resort desperate measure. And it will not matter what kind of blade you have. Now, in other cases, I've had that situation where maybe a couple people are trying to, take something away from you, or you're kind of in danger and you want to keep your distance, and you want to make them understand that following through with that plan of theirs may not end up going the way they think. So, stay there, calm down, keep your distance, and this is going to be a lot more positive, I think, than this. This is a lot more visible. So the idea of this is it's not visible, right? Well, sometimes you do want to have something that looks sharp, dangerous, and very much visible and noticeable. How many times have we heard of cases in which people didn't even know they were being stabbed? And it even happens with like small stainless steel knives, but it's been many cases in which, oh, I thought I was being punched, and then I saw the blood, and I realized I was being stabbed, and it was cut, and he had this knife. So sometimes you want this to go unnoticed, sometimes you want this to be very much visible. If someone is, let's say you're in a fight with someone that has you a fight in a bar, in a club, in the street, whatever it is, and someone has you on the ground, and typically how would that be? Let's say a jiu-jitsu expert has you pinned and he's about to break your arm. Well, usually in the gym you would just tap out. Now, if you're in the street and that person has no intention of letting go of you, one of the things you can very easily do is tap him yourself, but instead of tapping him with your hand, you just tap him with your knife, and I'm telling you, that can be super effective. And if that's not working, it's just a matter of a fraction of a second to twist and just start, opening up whatever needs to be opened up. That can be terribly effective. In those cases, I don't want something that is not visible. I want something that is super visible, super shiny, and super intimidating. And I feel that this does that very effectively. Now, if I'm about to get stabbed, would I care if someone is threatening me with a knife? I lost my mind and I'm just being aggressive towards someone and I just want to beat the crap out of someone. And he's telling me, keep your distance, stay away from me, I don't want any trouble, just don't get any closer. And he has this knife, or this one, I don't even care. I mean, first of all, of course, I'm not that kind of person to begin with. But even if I was, I would be very stupid to try to grapple or punch it out going barehanded against someone with a knife. That would be idiotic. That doesn't mean it wouldn't happen, but the chances are you will reconsider your stupidity a lot more if you obviously see a knife being involved. If it's not all that obvious, maybe you make some of these mistakes. But again, in some cases, I feel that you're better off with this. Now, military aspect, tactical thing where you don't want to be detected, I completely see the advantage of this thing. But maybe that's the difference between being offensive and defensive. If you're carrying a knife for your pocket EDC needs, and that may include some limited self-defense in some scenarios, I think that the advantage is not in something that's the Black Ops thing of knives where you just grab it and stab him in the neck. Maybe it's just like, dude, stay where you are. Don't take a step more because you're getting cut. You're getting fucked up. Keep your distance, all right? This, I feel, is a lot more effective. So, guys, just options out there, things to think about. That's just my take. Let me know what you think. And, of course, if you like this sort of stuff, you have stuff on EDC and how to use knives for self-defense. I do cover that in dedicated chapters of my books, along with the use of firearms, bare hands, and improvised weapons as well. That's a big part of street survival skills, and of course, surviving the economic collapse. Available in Amazon and the links below. Take care, guys. See you on the next one.